Hey up everyone, hope we're all doing well. Someone who's not doing well is Michael Chandler. And that's because this past weekend at UFC 314, he got absolutely knobbed by Paddy Pimblett. I mean, Chandler really didn't have much success at all, other than like a takedown and a big right hand that had no effect on Paddy. Other than that, he got absolutely bummed. And his fight before that was against Charles Oliveira in an undeserved rematch. And what happened? He got bummed in that one as well. Apart from in the final round where he was able to hurt Charles Oliveira, he had nothing going his way. So now he's on back-to-back bummings. And this left me asking a question to myself. Did Conor McGregor play a big part in this? Well, there are many variables what play into Michael Chandler's downfall, but I feel like the whole thing going on with Conor McGregor for like, what, 2 years definitely took its toll. Now, before we get into talking about what happened with him and McGregor, we need to get to his fight just before that whole saga when he lost to Dustin Poirier in the very third round. And that fight with Dustin Poirier took place in November of 2022, and a few months had gone by. We started 2023, and randomly the bombshell had dropped that Michael Chandler would be doing an Ultimate Fighter season with Conor McGregor. And genuinely, no one had a fucking clue that this was going to happen, but here we were. The Ultimate Fighter was coming back, and who better to start it off with Conor McGregor, the biggest face in MMA, and Michael Chandler. You know, a good styles clash right there, and arguably you could see both men winning that fight. But even though they did announce that Michael Chandler and McGregor would be coaches for the Ultimate Fighter, they didn't have a set date on when the two would actually meet in the octagon. And then the Ultimate Fighter season 31 did take place, but it didn't quite hit the levels of what previous seasons had hit, especially the previous one where McGregor had been on before with Uriah Faber. I mean, we only really got two talking points of the show when they first met, and McGregor was like, "You'll do as you're told, yeah." And then after that, we had it where McGregor went all roid-headed and pushed Chandler in the face, and Chandler started laughing hysterically. That was about it when it came to the Ultimate Fighter season 31. Nothing much of note was worth watching this program. Oh, and if I remember correctly, McGregor's team just kept on losing pretty much every time, so it was just like Chandler was just battering their team and nothing was going on. It wasn't like when McGregor in the first time he did an Ultimate Fighter where he was chucking his glasses like, "Stay on your fucking feet," and just going mental. You didn't get that McGregor. It was just kind of more laid back and not really that arsed. And towards the end of the Ultimate Fighter, people were wondering, okay, well, when are we getting some sort of announcement of when the fight actually takes place between McGregor and Chandler? And we never received that news, and it just kept on ticking over. Later on into 2023, everyone was wondering what the fuck's going to happen. And then I believe on New Year's Eve, Conor McGregor put out some video saying that he's going to fight Chandler, and I can't remember what date he actually said. He might not have even given a date, to be fair. But then in April of 2024, a year ago, we had Ariel Helwani break the news that Conor McGregor was officially back and he was going to take on Michael Chandler at UFC 303. And everyone was really excited for McGregor to get back in the octagon, even though what he'd been doing outside of the sport, you know, didn't look promising going into it, especially when you have like Michael Chandler, who's just always in great nick, you know, always in great shape, always training, looks like, you know, a typical PT. That's what he'll be doing if he wasn't an MMA fighter. He would be a fucking PT. You just know that. But, you know, everyone going into this, they were really interested to see how McGregor would look after being out of the octagon for 3 years. And then just a couple of weeks before UFC 303 took place, Conor McGregor pulled out of the fight with a toe injury. And obviously McGregor did get clowned on for pulling out of his fight with a toe injury, considering McGregor for a very long time had been slating fighters left, right and centre for pulling out of fights with injuries. And when it happened to him, you had a bunch of fighters jump on the train of giving a lot of shit to McGregor about this. And this was pretty much the end for Michael Chandler. He had just wasted a year and a half of his career not fighting, and everyone was like, well, what's Chandler going to do now? Is he going to sit out even longer and wait for McGregor? We got so close to the fight actually happening, you know, only 2 weeks away, and it never happened. So what's next for Chandler? Well, he got that fight against Charles Oliveira, but by that point when he got the fight against Charles Oliveira, it had been 2 years since his last fight against Dustin Poirier. And I'm not going to sit here and say that was the sole reason why Chandler's doing so shit at the moment against Charles in a rematch and Paddy recently. but I do think it plays a very vital part. Michael Chandler isn't some early 20s guy, mid 20s guy. He's not in his 20s, he's in his late 30s. He's currently 38 years of age. That's very old for the lightweight division. And honestly, I do feel sorry for Michael Chandler because he was stuck in a very strange situation. You know, you got this big payday on the horizon against Conor McGregor, the biggest name in MMA, but he's longing it out and it's wasting very important years of your career. And who knows, if Chandler never took that fight against McGregor and didn't wait out for so long, maybe he would have done a lot better in the lightweight division. I'm not saying he definitely would have, but I'm saying he would have had a better chance of doing so, because now Michael Chandler is just ranked 12th in the lightweight division, a very hard division, and I can't see him getting back in that top 5 ever again in that lightweight division. So yes, at the end of the day, I do believe that Conor McGregor was one of the big reasons to why Michael Chandler has fell off. There is other reasons as well. I'm not saying there isn't. I know there are other reasons. Like, one of my reasons for Chandler, you know, he's always one of those fighters. Yes, he's very dangerous. Yes, he can put you in dangerous situations, and you see it against everyone who's been against in the UFC apart from Paddy. He's been able to cause them a lot of trouble and put them in a bad position at least once in a fight, but he's only ever able to do it once. He's only ever able to put you in danger, really, once, and he never really finishes the job. But what do you guys think about Michael Chandler? Do you think the situation with him and McGregor really fucked him over? Do you think otherwise? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.